I love anything to do about the West. I love Westerns. I, of course, have seen films about the gunfight at the OK Corral, the Shootout, and Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday.
I had actually, I mean, I'd heard of Wyatt Earp, and I've heard of like the OK Corral and the big shootout, but I didn't know much about it. Probably from the movie Tombstone.
And Josie had spent most of her later life first establishing the myth of Wyatt Earp that we have today, pretty much created by Josie, his widow. And, you know, actors who were going to play Wyatt or anybody from that time would come and she would hold court and tell stories and loan Randolph Scott Wyatt's gun and things like that. And then she would get herself hired as a consultant on movie sets she said, you can't shoot a movie about Wyatt without me.
I grew up in Arizona, so my grandfather was a cowboy and a bull rider. So I feel like I have a little bit of that history in myself. And I even called my grandfather. I was like, so Bubba, I'm in this show called, you know, I Married Wyatt Earp. And he was like, oh, Wyatt, my good friend Wyatt.
There are these total, complete fanatics who know every single gunshot that was fired at the OK Corral and how many seconds there was in between. And then this whole kind of world that exists in Tombstone, which has kind of become Disneyland for the West.
Pop-up, things that reenact.
You don't get to see the women in those movies. They're like kind of like in and out of scenes, and you don't hear much about, you know, Maddie Earp and, you know, and just the women that traveled with them. And it just, the movies glamorize, I think, a lot of, obviously it's Hollywood, it's going to glamorize a lot of what was actually happening.
I love the music, and I love hearing there's 12 women all sing together. I think it's great. I love doing a show with all women. Not that I'm a big feminist or anything, but it's nice because women definitely get the short shrift in terms of wonderful roles.
And these real women have been so misrepresented in every version of the story for so long.
It wasn't just a bunch of guys out there doing everything, but that women were there and they were instrumental and they were the power behind the throne.